Inna, thank you so much for joining us here at Super Investor. Your panel was very much centred around mid-market investment. What does that mean in 2023?
Exactly, a very good question, because I was, kind of laughing, because when I found out that EQT is sitting beside me, that we are in the same mid-market range, because when I started in private equity 15 years ago, mid-market meant 500 million fund, and nowadays we basically end at 500 million deal as a mid-market. So now this is what has changed, and basically I now ended up at a very lower end of mid-market, meaning that I'm managing partner at Mindful Capital Partners, where we have deals between, I would say, 50 million up to 150 million of enterprise value, and I consider it still mid-market.
Why do you feel that that's a good, comfortable place to be at the moment in the current environmental landscape we're in?
Because first of all, it's a definitely very target-rich environment. We as a fund choose to be in Italy and Germany because those are two markets which are extremely fragmented, with an extremely fragmented environment, where you find thousands of companies that have sales between 30 and 150 million. Yeah? And this makes this place to be very comfortable in terms of deal sourcing. And second characteristic is these companies are still, I wouldn't say undermanaged, but maybe they have a potential to be developed, meaning that we consider ourselves as a best owner for these companies, because what we would bring, we would help the owners of the companies that we still want to keep in the company when I acquire a company. We would like to help them to, for example, to get abroad, to become more international company on one hand, and on another hand, we would like to help them to grow organically and inorganically. Meaning that for us, it's still most comfortable place to be because of those characteristics.
Talking about that focus, if you like, and it was a subject that came up on your panel, a specialisation, whether it be sector specialisation or geographic. How would you characterise that, and why is that something that you think is bringing success, to have that specialism?
I think if I consider where we were 10 years ago as a fund, we were specialised on the companies that can be internationalized, or that can be, developed organically or inorganically. And then over years, we discovered and gained knowledge in certain industries where you have these USPs. For example, if we're talking about Italy, there are a lot of industries that have a clear international USP. For example, consumer, food, design, and these are industries where we're active. While in Germany, we have a lot of companies that have industrial USPs, or also consumer USPs, but rather B2B consumer. And these industries that we are specialized in. So the specialization is not coming out of industry, but coming out of our knowledge that we built up over years, in our playbook that we apply to these companies.
So you would describe your specialisation as being about your playbook rather than perhaps the sectors you choose?
Exactly. It's rather a combination of both, because playbook usually applies to the certain sectors that it works in this case. For example, very fragmented industry, where you have a lot of potential to do buy and build, maybe clear USP on international landscape, and there are not too many industries that left there. For example, we don't invest into healthcare, we don't invest into IT, because these industries, they are rather very international itself, and we leave it rather to another funds that could do it better.
So in a way, you like to find the sort of companies that require that more basic build help right from scratch, rather than things that may have been slightly further down the line.
Absolutely, because we see us as a, somebody in the very first row in this food chain, I would say, yeah, where maybe KKR and PI are at the end, and the very first step where you have to do is buy it from the owner and to basically transform this company from the owner base to the institutionally led company. And this is what we do.
With all of that in mind and what you've described there, what would you say? You talked about, obviously, your outlook is very much, what can you bring from your playbook? But do you think there are going to be specific sectors going forward that you will be more interested in because perhaps they've been overlooked?
Sure. I don't think they're overlooked, but they're still extremely interesting for us, yeah, and maybe for others also because of the growth potential on the one side, and for sure coming out of our knowledge base, yeah. And here we are talking about energy transition because it is definitely the topic for next year's for Germany and Italy as well, where you have climate change, where you have extremely high energy costs, like Italy, I think one of the highest energy costs in Europe, where we can bring, where we can help these companies to overcome these obstacles or invest into companies that are basically riding on this way of energy transition.
In general terms, not just focusing on your company, but more generally, what is it that LPs like when they see companies that have specialization?
For sure, knowledge, yeah, because I mean, you can be quicker, you are more specialized, and last but not least, and a very important, I think, is portfolio work. Because if you have a certain playbook that you apply to a company, you immediately know from the first day what you can do, how you can help the company to increase their profitability or to grow organically, inorganically. And if you have this playbook in place, what you usually have if you're specialized, then you do it more efficiently.
And looking forward, obviously you have lots of conversations here at Super Investor. It's one of the reasons people come is to share ideas, to see what other players are doing. What will you take away from this conference this year, and what do you hope to look forward to in 2024?
I think what we have here, very good mix between LPs and GPs, and it's very international, so it's very similar to SuperReturn. But I think here is a more cozy atmosphere, yeah, because SuperReturn is, I would say, more, crowded, yeah. I mean, listen, last year, I think, or this year, Kim Kardashian was there, so it's different profile. And here you can have more possibilities to have vis-a-vis topic conversations.
That's great to hear. I hope you've had some really interesting conversations. Thank you for talking to us. It's great to see you, Inna. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much.